ladies and gentlemen, for our digital transformation presentation, may we please kindly invite Rishikesh Trivedi, Sunteck, for a presentation, followed by the great panel discussion.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first in-person show for jewelry after such a long time. This is regarding, powering business with technology, correct? How do we drive personalization, productivity, and processes in retail? I'm talking on behalf of Sunteck. Obviously, Sunteck, most of you may be knowing, is a leader in providing technology solutions to the gems and jewelry industry. These are some of our customers, right? So I'm an advisor on board. I am the head of Sunteck Innovation Lab. We help, innovate gems and jewelry industry people. So disruption happens very fast, right? At a blink of an eye, right? If we look at just 15 months back, right, we were discussing in the same room what are the various trends, what are the various elements that are driving the industry, right? And we were talking about how corporatization of the industry players is happening, brands are becoming more and more international, how there is a change in consumer behavior, right? How jewelry is going from an asset class to a fashion class, right? And how at a consumer level there is a significant movement from an information poor to an attention deficit environment, right? And at a blink of an eye, welcome to 2.0. The same trends do apply, right? Industries don't change overnight, right? But there are significantly lot more elements that have come into the mix, right? I'll just highlight a few. Screen life has taken hold, right? Some of the estimates say that people are today spending 7 to 10 times more time on the screen, right? So what could be the impact of that on the gems and jewelry industry is something that we all need to look at, right? Will they buy online? As some of the previous panelists were saying, no, they may not buy. Research suggests that not more than $1,500 per piece is getting sold online, right? But what is happening is people are still evaluating jewelry online, right? And that is going to stay. The next is obviously the big consumer shakeup. The e-commerce industry has been growing more than 30%. In pre-COVID era, it was growing in the range of 10, 12, 15%. Post-COVID, it has significantly increased beyond 30%. It's actually hitting almost 40%, right? The peak of globalization is already here. What do I mean by that? Globalization or globalization is across 4 parameters, right? The trade that is happening, the capital movement, the movement across people. If you look at these 3 pillars of globalization, it is still varying between 100 and 120. So there's not a significant movement in there. But post the COVID era, the information flow has almost doubled, right? The wealth chasm. So that's some good news for the people in this room, right? The wealth chasm has significantly increased. The rich have become richer, right? People who are already rich are not in a significant danger, which is good for this industry because it is in a luxury segment, right? And the flexible workplace, which may or may not impact significantly. So we at Sunteck has always believed that how do we drive change? We should not be chasing the change, right? We should be driving the change. Because unless you drive the change that is going to happen, right, you will always fall behind, right? So Sunteck obviously has grown over the last 10 plus years, almost 14, 15 years, right? The key over here is what did we do? When the pandemic hit, right? We set up an innovation lab, right? Because we realized that the industry is going through or is going to go through a significant change, right? And the industry will have to start innovating, okay? Now, these are some of the parameters that innovation needs to happen. Obviously, can we enable better customer experience? That could be a line of innovation thought. How do I change my product, both from a product configuration or a product system standpoint, and how do I reconfigure my business, right? What the pandemic taught us, as some of the previous players were saying, is, everybody needs to reconfigure their business. It is no longer a choice whether I will remain online or I will remain a traditional offline business. Omni-channel is here to stay, which, till last year when we were there, everybody was questioning whether we will have an omni-channel jewelry business. Today, it is taken for granted that omni-channel will be here to stay. So industry shifts require smart reconfiguration. I'm sure most of the industry players over here are thinking about how do I reconfigure the business. They would have tried a few things. They may have succeeded. Some of them may have failed. What we have done as part of the innovation lab is we have kept with a very clear focus on how do we keep our business flexible at the same time providing stability into the business. So we did 4 or 5 things, right? One, obviously we built up new solutions as part of Sunteck. We built up innovative solutions around e-commerce, digital era, analytics, etc. We have tied up with a startup accelerator, which is very specific for diamond jewelry related business, right? So that can drive a lot of innovation for the industry, right? We have tied up with a lot of complementing solutions in terms of helping people drive faster time to market, and we have invested into a few technology companies as well so that we can build this up, right? Now, the 4 pillars which help innovation with technology are as follows, right? First and foremost is the organization. The organization needs to innovate to survive, right? The customers, they need to integrate multiple things, and they need to have a success story when they have implemented the new technology. The users, they are the ones who hate change, right? Whenever any organization or customers or industry players over here want to implement a new technology, their biggest barrier to implementing a new technology is not their mindset. It's the mindset of the users. How will my users adapt to change, right? Because individuals always want to either improve productivity or convenience. Anything that is not convenient or any change that happens, there is a significant resistance that you find, right? So how do we help our industry players transform through technology? So this is the improved or the ready for the future solutions from Sunteck. Most of you in the room already know how we help organizations in boosting the efficiency, driving consistency of processes, right? The ERP, the finance, sales, inventory, all that stuff. The new things that we have done over there is we've got a mobile app in place. If you come out, we can show you that as well. We are now helping you enable better customer experience as well. We have done a lot of social media integration, as somebody in the panel was saying, that how they have improved and have got new customers into their store because of Instagram, because of WhatsApp. WhatsApp, Instagram has been, and Zoom. These are the 3 technologies which have driven millions of dollars of business during the COVID pandemic era, right? So we have created integrations into them so that you can, improve your business processes with that. Marketing automation, we have done some dabbling with augmented reality, virtual reality, all this kind of technologies, we can discuss about that. And powering business insights, right? Organizations always had ton of data, but that ton of data was lying disparate, dispersed across the organization in various people's heads, right? And business owners have always been figuring out how do we get that data together, build insights from that, and take a business decision. So the important thing is, how do we get fresh data, which will create new perspectives for the business owners, right? And that new perspectives is what will help you innovate and change and then grow. With this, I would like to end the presentation. The clarity of your next step, for that we have a couple of.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Rishikesh, for truly the enlightening words and the exposure that you've given to us. Thank you so much. May we please now invite our panelists, Mr. Shaji Kakode, our Chief Digital Officer at Malabar Gold and Diamonds, and Mr. Julian Leo Serrao, the Director of Brand Communications, La Marquise Jewelry, to kindly join us for the panel discussion on powering business with technology, driving personalization, productivity, and processes in retail. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been a different time with virtual shows, and we maybe forgotten to put our hands together and applause live because we're always very active in front of the computer screens and mobile phones. So just a reminder to kindly put your hands together. Thank you very much. Mr. Rishikesh, over to you. Thank you.
So, thank you so much. We have with us Shaji and Julian. What we will do is we'll try and start off with a small introduction, right? Shaji, if we can start off from your side, Malabar obviously is one of the industry leaders, and I'm sure you would have faced a lot of difficult days and difficult questions and difficult nights when the pandemic hit. The retail shops were closed, right, for almost a month. I think slightly more than a month. How did you think, technology supported the business in this particular time?
Good afternoon, everyone, respected audience. Malabar Gold and Diamonds, I think most of you can't miss it in UAE. We have about 250 stores across and about 10 countries. So our growth has been over the last 25 years, we have gone through different phases of technology transformation. Initially, when we were growing, it was mostly around, catching up with business, right? So it was about growing, opening new stores. So technology was always at the back end catching up. So as we went forward, then what we saw was that the technology was an important partner in our growth. So we started standardizing the technology platform. That was our second phase of the technology or digital transformation that we went through. Then we realized that the technology is just not an enabler that helps you do your operations, as you say, finance or marketing or supply chain. That is a general, operational activities. So what we want technology is to drive business, right? So it has to bring you business, right? So that is when, just before COVID hit, that we went on to our third phase of our digital transformation, which was to drive business. So how do we drive business? It is about the data. So the information that you capture, how structured is, I think, just touched upon that factor, how you standardize this information across your organization, which is spread across different geographies, right? So this digital transformation is key to our next 10 years of growth that we see that, we are planning to open another 54 stores this year, mostly around 40 stores in India and rest in the US and the Middle East and also Southeast Asia. So these changes, once we bring in the COVID, as some earlier panelists also said, how is digital technology is going to change, right? This is the discovery of your brand and your product is going to change significantly. Because it's always, the customers used to come to the stores to discover you. Now, or they used to see your advertisement to discover you. Now they are going to see you online. It is never about the average price of a $500 or $1,000 that they buy. It is how they discover you and come to your store. It is not that online is going to stay and the brick and mortar is going to go back. It is not. Because even though the online sales have increased significantly, but overall absolute value, it's always brick and mortar stores. Maybe if you look at the absolute value of growth of jewelry sector on online, it's very less. Maybe the multiples are higher, but the absolute value is always less. So your discovery of your product online is significant, And we also, as the COVID came, we always talk about omni-channel, right? So omni-channel is nothing but you're breaking the wall between online and offline. So you're saying that, okay, now my customer is coming online, he can come to your store, buy it, maybe they can return it online. So once you break that barrier, breaking that barrier is never an easy job, especially in our industry, where we see that it is not because most of our supporting segments like manufacturing, suppliers, for our retailers, they always, they're not in a technologically advanced stages. So what challenging for us, right, what we see in our industry is standardizing this structure of the products that we have, and that's the form that we are going through this digital transformation to identify the areas where things can be standardized so that it's easy to break that barrier between offline and online. Thank you.
Thanks, Haji. Julian, what has been your perspective? How has Lamarcus taken this journey?
Okay, so firstly, thank you everybody for having us here. It's great to see everybody in a forum, in a physical forum. And to answer your question, I think the first conversation that we had was quite insightful about the way we're going to proceed within this industry. But if I look at it and I think back upon the time when we had the lockdown, it wasn't such a bad period for me personally. I felt I had a lot of time to actually reignite some old passions, took up reading again. And after a bit, what I felt was important was we had more time to study our audience and study how we are developing and where the industry will actually take it forward. Now, I think the most important thing is understanding the customer and understanding how the new digital customer is. I think now all of us, and even in the previous talk, we were talking about how even the older generations have adapted to digital. So if you look at our new customer these days, they are always on Instagram, Facebook. There are a lot of areas in which they interact with jewelry or interact with fashion, as we say. I look at brand loyalty maybe 10 or 15 years ago, and I would always see, like when you walk around the mall, you see someone completely dressed in Burberry or somebody completely dressed in Louis Vuitton. That's not happening anymore, actually. And we see a lot of customers these days, they're happy to wear complementary brands, complementary luxury brands. And they'll always have a few pieces of jewelry here and there which stand out, something that's unique to their personality. People are finding fashion to be something that they're expressive in. So we spent a lot of time understanding our customer and how, with them viewing these images and content online, it drove a very strong aspirational value for them. And it created that need, a want actually, that I want to be dressed up like this. And we looked at that element and said, how can we take that and adapt it towards storytelling, something that Mr. Shah was talking about. I think a lot of times we say, storytelling can only be done when the customer is in store or when they're interacting with the product or the brand. But I think there's a better way of doing it, and which is online, where the customer can interact with the brand in their own time. And we need to find smarter ways to make sure that engagement is strong, because at the end of it, that is what's going to lead to conversion.
Very insightful, Julian. Now, I'll take both of you on one of the questions, right? As Shaji was talking about how the discovery phase has significantly shifted in the last few months, right, after the pandemic. Now, research obviously shows, that if the consumer or the customer has been part of the designing and the creation process, correct? Typically, they end up valuing a particular item easily 20, 25, 30% more, right? Have you guys tried to figure out how, apart from discovery of the brand or discovery of a specific available piece of jewelry, right? Have you tried to have any initiatives where the process of discovery, not just on an available piece, but the process of discovery, engaging with the customer in such a way that you are able to help them discover the kind of design that they want to have, have you tried that? Has it worked, not worked? some?
Yes, bespoke is one of the key areas that we work on. So the customers connect us online, and we have we call it the digital sales officers who work through them through their chats, through their the phones, and we have certain the platforms we expose to them to share the designs during the process. So they also get the daily updates on where the jewelry is. It has worked significantly well for us. We were able to make larger transactions, which is not regular the retail transactions because of that.
So you would agree that, in your own experience, right, if you are able to help the customer discover the design that they want and configure the product that they are looking for, your ASPs and your ability to drive certain revenue size is larger than an existing piece.
That's true. These two are different customers. One can switch over to the other at any point of time. So the availability of these platforms to engage them is very important. We realize that now that so that's what we've been doing. As I said, the next phase of digital transformation is about customer experience. One of the key points that we look at is that the next engagement, the areas that customer, I said, that they discover online, just not discovering, engaging him online, need lot more technology to enablement, and every retail store will start realizing is that in next couple of years, how these digitally engaging customers needs to be carried forward.
Excellent point, Sajid. So, Julian, in your experience, how has Lama?
So I think one of our key USPs as a brand is that we're very good with taking custom orders. But I'm going to put a little bit of spin on what you're talking about, and I say discovery. Discovery is a very interesting point in all social channels. Well, Instagram has a discover page, if you know about that. So what usually happens is we can now map out how a customer is looking, their interests, their likes, their dislikes. And customers who have engaged with us in the past, we can show them collections that they might be interested in to create that whole aspect. So once they come and they fall upon such type of thing, you're creating a sense of discovery within that engagement. And what I do believe is it's really important when customers come onto our websites or they interact with us, our current customers. It's something which I call shadow marketing, and I think it's a very important aspect, because if you're smart enough in that area, you can ensure that you have 2 or 3 triggers with your customer in a different space through marketing automation, which will eventually lead to a conversion. We have seen over the last few years, a lot of times a customer would engage with a product or a particular collection on social, would then jump onto the website, and then would convert either through the e-commerce platform, or most likely they would come into the boutique. So that also ties into the whole omni-channel experience. And I believe that one thing that we need to focus on is we do have boutiques all across, right? When we have boutique managers across this entire space. As brands, I think it's very important over the next decade is for us to look at having a digital boutique manager who will manage all the inquiries that are coming through from that aspect.
Very interesting point. In fact, I'll just try to extend, and the next question, which I'm sure you're guessing is, and since both of you are in a way where you're not physically present in the store, right? And the traditional, impression with most of the business owners here has been that, if I have a shop, things will sell, right? And we are slightly moving away, right? So how do you drive, I would want to refrain, but unfortunately I can't, is the KPI, or how do you drive a KPI saying, okay, this was a customer who discovered us online and he wouldn't be in the store, if we did not have a digital presence. So he may have seen something for $1,000, but he comes to the store and buys something of $3,000. That's a different conversation, right? But how do you drive? Because if you are not able to track that, if you're not able to create a KPI out of it, business owners will shy away from, putting the investments that are required for digital transformation, right? So
the core to this is the data. We all know that, right? Productivity, efficiency, all this is driven by information. So let's say a customer walks into your store, what you enable the salesman with is what that customer is going to experience. Let's say if you enable him with what is the customer's the last transaction, what is he expected to buy now? What is his average buying value? What is these kind of information you enable the salesman, he will be able to give the customer a better customer experience. So it's important, the information or the enablement of your staff with the right kind of information. Then you touched upon what is the customer buy online. So that persona, you constantly you mine your information and you create certain personas in your organization of your business. So that is going to help across how you sell, how you manage the personalized sale to a customer. Now the data has a different part of it at the operations levels, right? So at the supply chain or the person who's manufacturing the factory, how do they enable themselves that they manufacture the right products, right? So it is the same set of information that is going to drive them. The analytics, we talk about AI. Even though a lot of AI has a lot of ways we can use it, but in the end they can only work if you have that much information that particular algorithm can work on. Generating that information can come only if we put in processes in place. For example, now online transactions takes away a lot of that stuff because anything that a user or a customer does online is tracked, and that information can be used for you to analyze his information, the buying patterns, and cater a particular service to him. So there are a lot of things that online transaction helps us to do, but in the end, as I said, brick and mortar stores are not going to go away. Customers are going to walk in. Creating a better customer experience for those customers is going to come from the information that is going to come in online and their transaction offline.
I think, let's say a couple of years ago, a marketing department or a brand communications department within an organization was known as the one who would just spend money, But these days, I think things are changing quite a bit because you can actually explain how you've generated that ROI on your spend. And I think digital is an easy way to do it. Even if you're looking at smaller, KPIs, whether how many website visitors are there, how much time they're spending on a particular page, are they spending longer sessions interacting with products, how can we refine this? And as you were saying, it's really important for us to make sure that we keep refining this. It's a constant learning, and everything will improve and get surer over time to make sure that the customer experience is quite solid.
Now, obviously, I do realize that jewelry has been one of the laggards in terms of technology adoption. We would like to just throw open, if anybody in the audience has one or couple of questions for the esteemed panel over here, because you don't get this kind of expertise on a daily basis, where they will answer your questions. Sure. Okay. Then in that case, since there are no questions, what we'll try and do is if, briefly, both of you can summarize maybe the top 3 imperatives or top 3 things, that the audience over here should look at when they embark on their digital transformation journey, or they may have already started that journey and, something that they can just look at. Julian?
So I think one is, when it comes to adaptation of digital, we did talk about omni-channel, but having people who can solely focus on digital and how to drive automation of a lot of these processes in place. Number 2 is having a little bit of a deep dive into how customers are interacting with the type of content we want them to be seeing, and then how we can develop that further for them. I think once we have a perfect balance between these two, you will be able to curate a better experience for our clients.
Yeah. Thank you, Julian. Saji?
Yes. I think what my thought goes to is that there are a lot of flashy solutions that we see in the market, but what we need to look at is any of those solutions, how much value that it gives to us. It should be defined by what is the best, does it help me to increase my customer experience? Does it help me to increase my operational efficiency? And always when we choose technology, look at it in a way of a integrated ecosystem. Everything has to work as one unit. The same way that every part of business works together to have a particular better ROI, better customer satisfaction rate, the technology also has to work in a one single integrated unit. Then only whatever we were talking about, whether it's an omni-channel or a customer experience platform, that helps. Thank you.
Thanks, Haji. Thanks, Julian. Thank you so much, audience, for helping us out. Yeah.
Thank you. That was very kind of you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to request you all for a group photo op, please.
Photograph.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, maybe please put our hands together for Rishikesh Trivedi for his presentation, followed by moderating truly the interesting session, which of course is the need of the hour. For all age groups, of course, and for all generations. Now we always say it's a completely digital generation. So thank you so much for that very, very interesting, very apt discussion and for sharing with us your insights. Once again, our humble thanks to Mr. Shaji Kakori, Chief Digital Officer, Malabar Gold and Diamonds, and Mr. Julian Leo Serrao, the Director of Brand Communications, La Marquise Jewelry. Thank you.